really good to talk to you today.
Hi, Rachel. You look extremely cozy. Are you in the East Coast?
I am. I'm
I
in New
knew
York
it.
City.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my God. It looks like a perfect cozy New York place.
it is. Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so cold today. I just want to say, like, hard eyes for hard eyes. I love this movie. I could not stop obsessing over it. I couldn't stop laughing during this movie. So, one of the things that I really loved was how likable Jay and Allie are. Like, it really really adds something to the story when you have two characters that you're given a chance to like let them grow and actually have personalities. You don't get that very often in like these kinds of slasher films.
Mm.
So like you said that you love the character development, and like
Mhm.
it gave us this connection in this movie to these characters. So I really loved that, and then I really love that you were able to succeed in making this just as brutal as possible. Like that first kill, I was just like, oh,
Yep.
so we're going there with this movie. So, was there anything like particularly challenging about tackling like the character development aspect of the script alongside like making sure it's brutal and like everything slasher fans love?
The brutality was always there. That was always like the North Star. I always wanted to basically mask this as like a Jason movie.
Mhm.
But the challenge was always going to be whether or not the characters had chemistry. And we didn't know if Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt were going to get along, if they were going to have chemistry, if they were going to like each other, if there was going to be any modicum of electricity. And we were so lucky. We didn't even get to do a chemistry read. I knew just meeting Olivia and talking to people who'd worked with her and were singing her praises as a human being, that if I paired her with Mason Gooding, who everybody across the board did the same thing, he's a wonderful human being, so charming, you won't even believe how wonderful, that they would be wonderful together. And that's just, it worked out. The movie lives or dies by the chemistry. A rom-com lives or dies by the chemistry of their leads. Really, every film does, and I'm so grateful it worked out. And similarly with the girls' relationship, the friendship is also a love story in its own right. And the fact that Gigi and Olivia had not met, and the fact that now they're homies, like it just I don't know, it really brings me great joy. I'm stoked.
No, I love that. Like I loved every single one of these characters in this movie. Like it was so great to see them have genuine, like realistic relationships. Like it wasn't like something that's like shunted off towards the back where it's like, yeah, there are these people, but they're not the main focus of this. Like especially like the meet cute between Allie and Jay. Adorable, awkward, like absolutely hilarious. Was that like always scripted like that, or was like, there like some other stuff thrown in? Because it just felt so natural.
There was always, thank you so much. There was always a bit of an awkwardness to it. He gets his nose broken in the first few minutes of them meeting and chatting and kind of flirting. But you have to kind of let them do their thing and see how it organically kind of feels. So you just need to roll it and just watch them play flustered. And they just nailed it every time. I mean, I don't know. It was always written to be kind of your classic meet cute for what it's worth, and just watching what the two of them bring to it. You have to lull people into a sense of complacency, much like a jump scare, that this is
Mhm.
going to be just like any other ordinary film. And then there's this violent moment that happens between the two of them within the first, few exchanges of words, and that sort of sets the tone for the rest of their interactions throughout the film.
Yeah, I did love that. Like it was like there's this little bit of violence in here, but there's a little bit of love. It's kind of like the tone of the film. Like it's for people who love Valentine's Day, it's for people that hate Valentine's Day. Like I've always I've always been the person that's like, it's a dumb holiday. I
Yeah.
hate it. That's why I was so excited for this. I was like, perfect, a movie set on my least favorite holiday of the year where I get to watch people get murdered by someone with a really cool mask.
Thank you. This is as much a date movie, a perfect Valentine's Day date, as it is a perfect anti-Valentine's Day date. If you hate PDA and you feel uh, just that couples are the most obnoxious, most annoying, rub it in your face how good we have it, despite what their kind of arrangements are.
Mhm.
This is for you. Just as like if you're a true romantic. I married my best friend. I grew up loving like Sleepless in Seattle and Nora Ephron.
Aw,
Penny Marshall and Rob Reiner films.
yeah.
It's also for you. And I'm just shocked that they let us make it.
Honestly, I'm glad. Like I'm a huge slasher fan. I have been since I was like probably way too young to be watching them. So this is the kind of movie that if I had seen in like high school or middle school, I would have made it my entire personality for
Yeah.
like a year.
It's going to be mine moving forward, no matter what.
As it should be. It's fantastic. And so speaking of the kills and the brutalities, I saw that you said like your favorite one was the hippie couple in the van, which that's my favorite too. But one thing that I thought was really interesting about it was it reminded me of the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake when they pick up the hitchhiker. Was the
Yeah.
camera pull out through the wound of the girl's head? Was that like an intentional homage or was it just like an accidental kind of thing?
I believe it was intentional, but because the funny thing is I never saw the film. I only saw a
Ah.
trailer where they showed that, or like the Red Band or something, where
Yeah, something like
that
that.
kill. So it was like they haven't done that in 20 years. That would just be fun. I'm a massive Sam Raimi fan, a massive fan of like films like Drag Me to Hell and Darkman, and I just love those kind of inventive sort of kills. And we were, excuse
Hmm.
me, able to do so much of it in camera, with motion
Yeah,
capture. So I don't know. That was a late ad too, just like many of the
really.
kills of the drive-in, where he was really just targeting Allie and Jay, but he ends up
Yep.
those people were intercepting him. So on the day, I essentially decided to add, him killing a couple other stunt folks, and it just worked out well. And you can't have a serial killer like Hard Eyes go to a drive-in on Valentine's Day where couples are meant to be romantic
Yeah,
and watch a romantic film and have there not be a massacre. Come on. So,
exactly. Like this is what I want. I came here
yeah,
to see this. Give me my massacre.
yeah. Give me my massacre.
Were there any like ideas of any other kills that didn't make it in, or were you able to fit in like all of the ones that you envisioned?
There was actually a full-on spa sequence. There's kind of just a brief spa
Yeah.
sequence. And I was really excited to see Hard Eyes through the like translucent like sauna fog, like steam room fog, much
Oh.
like Freddy was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I just love that image of
Yeah.
his silhouette. So there was some pretty exciting imagery where, he ends up putting a guy's head on a floating ring in a hot tub with flowers around it, but it just didn't make it in, unfortunately.
Man, that would have been so cool. Um, and then I guess last thing, I am so obsessed with this mask. Like I better see this mask at Spirit Halloween this year,
Yes.
next year. Give me this mask. Were there any other earlier iterations of it that didn't quite make it, or was it always like this like emoji kind of like idea?
We always knew, yes, the answer is yes. We always knew that we wanted heart-shaped eyes, but we didn't know
Yeah.
how they would sort of feel, be incorporated. Tony Gardner was our mask designer with his partner Brian Christensen at Alterian. He's a genius. We had homages to the Miner in My Bloody Valentine. We had homages to
Yes.
Pinhead. We had like a more sickly look, a more futuristic look. We had tubes protruding from his face. We had, a hood. We had no hood. We had, hats. We had helmets. We had all kinds of stuff. And once we started to hone in on this almost reptilian skin vibe, um, we offset the eyes ever so slightly so they were
Mhm.
imperfect, so they weren't the
Yeah.
same frame. So that asymmetricality was really scary. And then also Chris Landon had the brilliant idea to spread old blood on his face, so oxidized blood
Yeah.
to basically show that Hard Eyes had killed before. Like, when in doubt, age your mask. Don't make it some new
Yeah.
shiny thing. An aged mask is really,
Yeah.
really eerie because it's like, whoa, where has it been? What?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was incredibly creepy. Like I loved it. I loved that, an early iteration had an homage to My Bloody Valentine. Great film. I love it. Thank you so much for this film. It was amazing. I cannot wait to make everybody that I know watch it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.